Hi, I'm Jeremy Callahan, and this is the App or Not to App. Mobile apps can help your business reduce costs, increase leads, and reduce manpower. An app is not a luxury item, it's a necessity. So let's get started making you money.
Hello, everybody. Jeremy Callahan coming at you for the podcast like I do every Wednesday. And today's topic is 7 reasons why apps fail. And these are the big 7. So we'll go through them all and I'll let you know why apps fail. And you want to avoid these, or if you've done this and you want to need help getting out of it, give me a call and we can do it. So just right off the bat, let's go through all 7 of them. Number 1, there's no market. Number 2, poorly executed launch. Number 3, no long-term marketing. Number 4, poor user experience. Number 5, no sharing. Number 6, no reuse. And number 7, no way to make money. There never was. That should probably be number 1. But I do help a lot of people out, not just in developing apps, but also in marketing the apps. And these are the reasons that apps fail for people. So I want to pass this information along to you so that you don't make these mistakes. Okay? So let's talk about number 1, and that is there's no market for your app. And so I get a lot of people that contact me, and this is one of the main ones. There's just no market for it. It doesn't translate to an actual market. So not long ago, these guys contacted me and they had an idea for an app that would essentially allow you and your friends to create a shared memory so that we could have a memory of a wedding. And I could put the things I remember and post photos about it, and then you could do the same as well. And they were very passionate about the idea. They were very convinced it was going to be the next billion-dollar idea, and Facebook would buy them. And as it turned out, it was not. And it was not a good idea. And the main reasons that it's not a good idea is because there's no market for it. So I want to be a little harsh on you right now, but your feelings about and your idea about whether an app is going to be successful, they're completely wrong. You don't have any idea. I know that sounds harsh, and I know it's tough love, but it's the way it's got to be. You don't have any idea if there's a market for your app, and if your app will actually translate to a market. There actually might be a market, and the people might not like it. So I want you to do something different. You need to do something different. And so the easiest way to do that is, well, there's 2 things, okay? There's 2 things you need to do if you have an idea and you think it's the next big thing. Number 1 is you need to do basic research. Because this app I was just telling you about, we did a Google search and it turned out there was a company already doing it. It wasn't an app, it was just a website. But they were already doing it. And so, and again, Facebook basically does the same thing in a lot of ways. So that's one of the things. Do your homework. Do some basic research. And then the second one is even if you're convinced there's a market, you need to do this step, and that's to run some advertisement. And probably the best place to do that is on Facebook or Instagram. Run some ads for an app as if it exists already. Why not? You say, well, my app doesn't exist. I can't run an ad for it. Well, you certainly could. Just whatever the app is, whatever the idea is, run an ad for it. See if people click on it. See if people have interest in it. See if people like your page or whatever. And then you'll actually know if there's a market for your app. Don't just assume and guess and spend $100,000 developing an app and then realize that there's not a market for it. Because I know people that have been there. I've been there. And you don't want to be there. So I'm trying to help you not make the mistakes that me and some of my clients have made. Personal mistakes. Okay. Second reasons apps fail. Poorly executed launch. So you have a good app, you got a market, you developed it, and you don't launch it correctly. Now, another personal story. I have a client, had a client a few years back, and I developed an app for her, And I have a marketing plan, an actual pre-marketing plan, and then as the app launches, a launch plan, and then a post plan. And so I have this plan. It's written out. It's a list of all the things you need to do. And I have a checklist. And not everything applies to every app, obviously, but for the most part, 80% of it does. And you need to do it. So I had a client. She put all her eggs into the basket, all in for development of the app. Idea is getting it done. We get it done. As we're getting it done, she didn't do any of the items on the launch list. So if you don't want to follow the plan, that's on you. I've got a plan. I can do the development. I could execute the plan for you. They wanted to execute the plan on their own. I gave them the plan. They didn't execute the plan. So I just did a podcast on how to market your app. And the general idea is whatever you spend on development, if you spend $60,000 on development, you need to spend $60,000 on marketing. So go check out check out that podcast. There's no hype involved in this, okay? You gotta do it, you gotta follow the plan, and you gotta execute. If you don't wanna do it, you're number 2 in the top 7. Number 3, the third reason apps fail. There's no long-term marketing plan. What's your long-term marketing plan? Okay? You have a pre-launch. Awesome. You have a launch. Awesome. What's your marketing plan over time? Right? How are you going to get free traffic? Free app installs. How are you going to get paid app installs? What is the plan? And again, I just created the episode on that, on the podcast, of an actual plan of, a long-term marketing plan to get you free traffic and to get you paid traffic, and how to do it. Because in the beginning, you have to pay for traffic. You just do. And you don't get much free. And then as time goes by, you'll start getting more free traffic and having to pay less. It's just the way the world is. And again, you want to launch. You want a lot of people. You want people using your app. If people don't install your app, if people don't use your app, you got nothing. You just have an idea. Well, you have an app, but nobody uses it. Okay. 4th reason that apps fail. Poor user experience. UX, as it's known in the industry. User experience. So when mobile apps first came out, actually, I'm going to even back up. When the web first came out, nobody knew what to do with it. No companies didn't know what to do with it. So what all the companies that had retail outlets, let's just say Target, they didn't know what to do with the web. So what they did is they had a catalog, because everybody used to have catalogs, and so they would actually just take pages from their catalog and put them on the web. And it was a horrible user experience. And they wasted hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars, and everybody was doing this. Well, guess what? When mobile came out, and you still see it today, people did the exact same things. They had successful e-commerce sites that they had, people had been buying stuff online for years, and all they did was they took the exact e-commerce site and they put it onto a phone. And it's a horrible, horrible experience. Go to Amazon, right? They go and open it up and just search for something. Search for vacuum cleaners. And you're going to get the tiny, you know what I'm talking about. It's all the tiny little images and a little description, and I have to scroll. And it's tiny. The image is like 100 by 100 pixels. And then if I want to actually see what it looks like, I have to click into it and open it up. It's a horrible user experience. The Gap, but probably one of the worst user experiences around. And they spend millions upon millions of dollars on their e-commerce brand, their web, and their mobile commerce. So, bad user experience, okay? I'll tell you a good one. Good user experience is one of the apps I created, which is ShoeSwipe. Really, when I created ShoeSwipe, there was a couple of things so ShoeSwipe is Tinder, exactly like the dating app Tinder, except for it was for shoe shopping. So you could swipe right if you like, swipe left, and people just go through and they look at shoes. The main idea, the reason I came up with it was because of this UX issue, this tiny image issue. that everybody was having on the phone. When I shop for something, and this is my assumption, and it turned out to be spot on and true, was that people wanted to see the product. And then if they wanted details, they could tap on it and find out more details. But the old way was show me the name, the description, and then I have to tap on it to see a photo, and then I have to back out and go back to the list and see it. This way, you would just see the photo of the item, scroll to the next one. See the item, scroll to the next one. Because you know visually, just like when you're in a store, if you see something in a store, you've got to pick it up and hold it and touch it. Well, this was the same idea. I want to see the product. Oh, I like that. I don't like that color blue, but I like another shade of blue, right? Like that's the idea. So if you have poor use, and this is just a shopping example, but there's a lot of apps that have bad user experience. I have a client right now that just called me, potential client, and they have a website, or not a website, they have an app that it's in the music industry, and the guy said to me during the call, he goes, our design and UX is horrible, and one thing we know about people that are into music, that if you don't have an app that looks cool and sexy and awesome, you're out. You're just out on site. They don't want it. They don't care how good the music is. They don't care how you're delivering it. If you're Spotify and you don't look good, you're gone. That is an industry that like you're out. Think of if you're a wedding professional and you look at wedding sites. If they don't look nice and cool, and I'm struggling for the right words and empathetic and all that stuff, you're out, right? So user experience, another reason that apps fail. The fifth reason that apps fail, no sharing. Sharing is caring, people. Sharing is caring. And so when you talk about apps, you want people to share it. Just like I want you to share this podcast right now. In fact, I'm going to ask you, if you find this podcast interesting, please share it out to someone else that would find it interesting. So sharing is very important. And sharing is actually something that people miss in the planning phase of their app. They don't think, actually what they think is that people are just going to love this and share it automatically. And that's a misnomer. You have to ask people to share your app. Okay? So I'll give you some perfect examples. Okay? Fitbit. Okay? Fitbit. You know, the little tracking thing? I don't have one, but the tracking thing, Fitbit. They come out, they roll out a product. It's a good product. People use it. People like it. People start sharing it. Like, here's how people started sharing it. They just started telling their friends, oh, I'm walking. So a certain percentage of them that they told about it, word of mouth, would go and use it. But then Fitbit did something really good. They extended out their mobile app. It originally didn't have this, but they extended their mobile app out so that I could compete against my friends, my coworkers. We have a daily game, a weekly game, all these different games. And that made people want to get involved, want to share, want to play. Hey, Kate, say to my girlfriend, get a Fitbit so we can compete against each other. She says, I don't want a Fitbit, but then she goes, oh, that's a good idea. We should compete against each other. Boom. Sharing is caring. What are you watching on Netflix? Why are you watching it? Probably because somebody told you, oh, that series is so good. Do you watch Game of Thrones? No, I don't watch Game of Thrones. Yeah. Oh, well, do you have Netflix? Yeah. You should watch the Dave Chappelle special. Like, oh, now that's something interesting. Somebody shared something with me. So, sharing is a very important aspect to your plan, to your mobile app. You can reward people for sharing. Give them a free month. Give them a free t-shirt. I don't know, give them something of value for sharing. And the best part about it is it's free marketing, man. It's absolutely free marketing. When people are talking about your products, telling people, hey, you got to install this, sharing it on their Facebook page. You got to have sharing. If you don't have sharing, it's one of the reasons apps fail. Number 6, getting people to reuse your app. Very important. Why? Well, first of all, did you know that that 30% of the people that install your app, they've taken the time to click on an ad or to type in your app into the App Store, install your app, 30% of them don't even register. They just don't. They don't register. So that's tough enough. You're just, some of the people that are installing your app aren't even registering, which means they're never going to use it again. Okay? So you have to give people a reason to reuse your app. You got to have fresh content, new videos, new email. Maybe you have an email strategy telling them to go back to the app. Maybe you have a push notification telling them to go back to the app. I mean, look at your phone right now and tell me, scroll through your apps. The average user has 96 apps on their phone. I want you to look at your screen, scroll through your apps, and tell me which app right now, I bet you can come up with 10 that you never even use. Yet they're on your phone. Yet you won't get rid of them. Maybe if they sent you a notification or gave you a reason to come back, you might actually do it. Now, the reason that we put no reuse on the list of why apps fail is because of how Apple and Google treat reuse. So when Google and Apple rank you in the App Store, and again, people are going to the App Store all day long and they're searching for fitness apps. They're searching for whatever, recipe apps. They're searching for these things in the App Store. They're searching for your app right now. And so Apple and Google, they say, wow, this app's getting a lot of installs. This recipe app is getting 500 installs a day. So they start ranking it higher. But then they just don't do it based on how many people are installing it. What they do is they say, how many people installed it? How many people reused it? And of those people, how many people gave it a review? So when you factor in those three things, installs, reuse, and rating, that's how they rank you in the store. So the better you do in those three categories, the higher you're going to rank. And so you could have a lot of people installing your app, a lot of people signing up and registering it. They use it for one day and then they never come again. Google Play is just going to treat you like they're throwing you down the stairs. You're going down in ranking. Apple, down in ranking. No reuse. So you got to have reuse, right? And there's a stat out there that I think it's over 50% of the people that install your app and use it once never use it again. So have a strategy to get people to reuse your app. Otherwise, you're going down to Chinatown. Okay, the final, seventh reason that apps fail probably should be number one. No way to make money. This app has no way to make money. It never did, it never will. So, a lot of people come to me with app ideas, and the first thing I say is, how does this app make money? And a lot of times, the answer is, well, we're going to get as many users as possible, and they're going to interact, and it's going to be this great community, and then I think the only way they can tell me it's going to make money at that point is that Facebook's going to buy us. Facebook's going to buy us is the one everybody always says. Maybe. I might win the lottery tonight, too. It's $470 million in the lottery. And by the way, I only play the lottery when it gets over 300 million. So my odds of winning are even worse than a person that regular plays it. Dude, okay, if you want to go down that road, if you want to spend, $100,000 to create and market an app, and there's no way to make money on it, be my guest. I know a guy, great guy, created an app, great concept on the app. It's called Uvite, expiring invitations. So I say, hey, who wants to go to happy hour on Friday night? And I send it to 10 people. Well, if 5 people don't say yes by Thursday at 3 o'clock, it's off the table. No good, no more. Problem is, there wasn't any way to make money on that app. There isn't. Unless you're, I don't know, maybe you're sending people to events Maybe you're putting events in there that are like paid events and you're somehow pulling some money off the top. It's a good idea. It does serve a purpose. It's a really good idea. Expiring invitation. It turns out that like that app, what they noticed that when they did the app, what they noticed right off the bat was that the number one, the two biggest things were, one was poker games. People like to set up poker games, and it was good for that community. And then the other one was pickup basketball. So this is potentially something up here, number one, no market, you could have discovered, right? One is and there is actually a way to make money with that same app if you repackage it as a poker app, not a poker app, but a game to get people to play poker, or potentially pick up basketball. Those two things could make money. But you see what happens? You spend all this money, you develop an app, you get all the way down here to number 7, no way to make money, when you could have came all the way back up to number 1 and said, is there a market? So maybe at the is there a market stage, you put some ads up on Facebook and you figure out at that point in time that, wow, actually this would be good for people that there's an interest for people in poker. And there's a lot of people searching for poker and poker games, actually a live poker game, in the App Store and on Google. So you can see the things, right? So let's just go over them. One more time, we'll just go through them really quick. 7 reasons apps fail. No market, poorly executed launch plan, no long-term marketing, poor user experience and design, no sharing mechanism, no reuse mechanism, and no way to make money. If you're one of these 7, if you're doing one of these 7, get in touch with me immediately. If you're thinking about building an app, get in touch with me. There's a contact form on my website. It's not a contact form. It's a form that schedules a call with me. Get a half-hour call with me. It's free. Let's talk about your idea. Let's talk about your app. Let's talk about how we can have a successful launch. A long-term marketing plan. Great user experience. A sharing plan, a reuse plan. And how, the most important thing to you, your family, and the people who love you, how to make money. Let's make you some money. Let's make money so that you can make money when you're sleeping, so you can retire better, you can go on better vacations, all that good stuff. Okay, into the show. Thank you for joining. If you found any value, please share it on whatever social medium you're finding this. If you want to get in contact with me, jeremycallahan.com. I'll be coming at you next Wednesday. Look forward to seeing you again on the podcast, and thank you for joining.